high-end procedures. We only get paid when you get booked patients.
Okay. So the first thing that comes to mind is, and look, I want you to take all of this with a grain of salt,
Yeah.
where I think you could still probably launch this. And so you have to, in some ways, also see that, like, how much of a perfectionist do I want to be, right? I'll share with you what I think. You don't have to necessarily change all of this right now before you go live, okay? But you keep this in mind for future ads. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sound good.
The first thing is that I love the fact that she's wearing a freaking like lab coat. That is great.
Yeah.
That is very important to create that affinity. One of the biggest things that I talk about, like on YouTube, anyone I work with one-on-one, done for you clients I have, is like, hey, if we're going to run ads to this demographic, can we create some visual aspect that is going to be clear without her even saying a word that this is my person? So oftentimes it's going to be by dressing like them. So if you ever do ads yourself too, which I think you should, bro, you're a very charismatic person. You've got a very good personality. You're well-spoken. I think you should get yourself a lab coat and then, maybe even have like a syringe in your hand. That would be great for future videos. So this is good. I'm glad that you got the spokesperson to do that. Now, here's the thing though. What I would say is that you're saying
Spa owners with high-end procedures.
It's not high-end procedures. It's photon laser, right? Because that's so much more specific, right? When you're going after that kind of med spa, you want to just call it out completely, because this may end up attracting med spa, owners that like want to do high-end, and it goes into so many different variables of like what else could be a high-end procedure to them. It seems objective unless you just call it out. So moving on over here. And then the other thing that I'll say as well is I do like that it says med spa owners. That is great. So generally with copy, what we want to do is we want to essentially break down our headlines in such a way where every line on its own makes 100% sense if we don't even read the next one. So for example, med spa owners get booked. Okay, that's all right. It's not too bad. I would rather go med spa owners on one line so it's clear. Get booked patients on the next line, 100% commission based. You see how like that is so much more just digestible.
Yeah. Okay.
Next thing.
We only get paid when you get booked patients. 100% commission based. No retainers, no fluff.
Okay, so you're immediately getting into, firstly, a vague promise that doesn't have photon laser. It doesn't share any quantity of how many patients. It's not sharing how much like revenue they're going to make potentially. It doesn't really have a promise. It's alluding to somewhat of a desire, but there's no direct promise being made. But what you are then doing is you're directly getting into your actual like payment structure, which is a little bit too fast, a little bit too soon. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So I would delay that in the same way that you wouldn't get onto a sales call and immediately be like, hey, so are you a med spa? Okay, cool. We get paid on commission. Oh, but what do you do? What am I going to get? No. Commission, right? Okay. So you wouldn't do that, right? So
owners with high-end procedures. We only get paid when you get booked patients. 100% commission based. No retainers, no fluff. Just results. I see so many med spa owners stuck paying for ads, clicks, or leads that never turn into real patients. You chase down leads.
Okay, so it's interesting. There's a concept in advertising that we call indirect and direct ads. Have you ever heard of that?
I have not.
Okay, so remember we talked about total addressable market, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So triangle is your total addressable market. These are the different awareness levels over here that you have. The base of the pyramid is the largest percent of the actual market. Let me just break it down into half. This is what you would call a less aware market. I'm just going to put unaware over here, meaning that they're unaware that they have a problem in their med spa. Like maybe they're getting referrals and maybe it's going well, and maybe they haven't really thought about advertising, maybe because they felt like they didn't really need it, or maybe they actually do need it and they just don't even realize. That's like more of an unaware market. I would even say that somewhat people that know that they want more patients and they have a desire to get more patients, but they don't really know what to do about it because they just haven't really looked into too much. That's what you would call an unaware market. And generally, there's a large percentage of them. To them, you want to have ads that are indirect, meaning that when you start off in your ad talking to somewhat of their pain points, right? When you say like, hey, things are maybe going well right now, you're getting patients, but your calendar isn't packed. I mean, your work is not packed. And sometimes there's great weeks, sometimes it's a little slower. And so you have good months, you have okay months, sometimes there's even bad months maybe. But what you want is just consistency month over month. So you're calling out sort of the pain, the problem. And what you desire is to be able to actually hire maybe, one or two more people in your clinic as well to be able to do the procedures with you. So it's not just you and you having to do it all the time. So you can actually have a real business. And you're talking to more of the desire. And then you basically move them up to a more aware state.
Got it. Okay.
And then when they're more aware, what ends up happening is that you can go into your promise. And that's what a direct ad basically is. It starts off out the gate with a promise. I'm going to get you 20 patients, photon laser in the next 30 days. And here's how. Boom. It's so direct. It's getting into a promise, right? But if you want to say your calendar isn't booked up, You've got patients coming in some days, you've got less coming in other days. There's ups and downs. Your receptionists are just twiddling their thumbs at times, and you want to keep them busy. You want the phone ringing. Well, here's what I got for you. I'm going to get you 20 patients in the next 30 days. You see, I preambled that same promise with their pain points and what they actually desire.
Yeah.
So what am I trying to get to over here? You essentially have like jumbled this up a little bit. You are starting off with a very direct kind of like promise. You're already getting into like commission-based and everything, and then you're getting into the indirect part of it, which is more of their problems. So what I would rather do is, if you are going to make a direct ad, then it's literally, med spa owners, I'm going to promise you this result in this time frame, or you don't pay. Here's how I do it. I have this method that allows us to get leads, qualify leads, book them into your calendar, and you just show up, they just show up to your clinic, you close them, and then we get paid a percentage of that. If you are tired, if you don't, and then you can even get into like, and this is going to happen without you putting any, money into like, ads or like whatever you want to say at the end. Tap the link below and see if this is going to work for you. It's like a very simple, like less than a minute ad. That'd be a very direct ad. And generally speaking, bro, with any kind of advertising, I would probably start off with that.
Got it. Yeah, makes sense.
Right.
Makes sense.
Because if you will, we could look at the structure. Is this making sense? Like, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to stop and we can just dive into that.
Yeah. No, what you're saying would make sense. Because again, we want to target the actual people that are, again, unaware that they have a certain problem. But that actually leads me to another question. Let's say, for the people who are already aware, right, that they do have this problem, like they're getting, or they're not getting leads, or they need like another person who can come in and do the actual laser procedure for the MD, right? Instead of the MD doing it, would it just be vice versa? Just make two separate hooks and target them? How would that work?
Right. So thank you for clarifying that. When I was suggesting go with the more direct ad to start, it's precisely because there's a certain segment of your audience that already knows they have a problem. They're already aware of that. They already have maybe tried lead services. Maybe they've already tried ads. Maybe they've tried another agency and they're just not happy with the results. And what they want is they're still in the market for a solution. So as you can see over here, the total addressable market is smaller, but what you would say is that they're actually easier to convert because, again, they're aware. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like trying to get it's like, I'm going to use a bit of a crude example over here, but imagine, there was some, I don't know, girl that you saw in like the grocery store and you really liked her and then you wanted her to, eventually, date you or something.
Yeah.
Who would it be easier to convince to go on a date with you? Her, or maybe some girl that you went to elementary with for all those years and you ran into her and you're like, whoa, like, do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, who would it be if I go on a cat? You see what I'm saying? Because why is it in the second case that it would be easier to go on a date with you?
It's because she already has like some kind of knowledge on you, right?
Exactly. So it's the same thing over here. When you go direct ads, you're basically going for this segment of the audience over here, which is the lowest hanging fruit. And that's who you want to go with, generally speaking, in the beginning, because there's a segment of the market that's never seen you, never heard you. And so when you go after them, you have somewhat of an advantage because they've just never seen you. But they know already, they're aware of their problems, aware of their issues. And so when you speak to them with a direct promise that hits their desire, they're going to be like, well, let me opt in. But keep in mind, it's the smallest part of the audience. So at some stage, they will dry out. So that's when we go more indirect with our ads, so we can pick up more people at this stage of the audience, for example. Yeah. So if I were you, what I would do is I would basically come out the gate, make 2 different videos if you want, that are just 2 very direct, i.e. promise-driven ads, right?
Okay. Like,
hey, med spa owners, do you want to keep your calendars busy? I've got something for you. We're going to get you 20 appointments every single month, And then another ad could be some other version of that promise, right? Like, hey, med spa owners, you can literally say, like, hey, we guarantee this many patients in this period of time so you can keep your calendar busy. So you can just switch it around a little bit if you want. But it's still, the key over here is that you're starting off with a very direct promise.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, cool.
Right, so let's continue. Let me just erase all this stuff. Okay.
No one answers. You follow up and they ghost. You're left wondering why your calendar's half empty, even though you're spending money on advertising every month.
Okay, one thing that I say, like, this is not a big deal. It's just more of like a beginner mistake, I will say. But it's not a big deal. It's not like it's going to cost you the conversion. It's just like an overall feel of professionalism is that with this girl's audio, it's not that great, but there's so much software out there that can fix that up. So I recorded a ton of videos on like my computer's mic or like a shitty mic, and then my editor just turned it into like studio level stuff. You should absolutely do that because the audio comes hand in hand with the visual. The visual could look great, and I think you've got some decent editing over here, but you generally speaking want to make sure that you actually have good audio as well.
Got it.
You're still half empty, even though you're spending money on advertising every month.
There's just a bunch of, you see, like with the different like pain points over here, I'm just seeing a lot of different things, right? Because you could have some people that are going through some of these pain points that you mentioned earlier on, chasing leads, retainers, and all that stuff that never turn into patients, calendars half empty. And then we're getting again into, where was it? Let me see here.
Owners stuck paying for ads, clicks, or leads that never turn into real patients. You chase down leads, no one answers. You follow up and they ghost. You're left wondering why your calendar's still half empty, even though you're spending money on advertising every month.
Okay, so like this is everything that you said after like your initial commission-based thing. Everything you're saying over here is great. I would use that as an indirect hook. Do you see what I'm trying to say before you get into the promise?
Okay.
This is targeting a very specific kind of med spa, which I think you should actually generally go after. Is that they've already probably tried ads, they haven't gotten results, they've had leads ghost them. These are all pain points that you will allude to before you actually get into the promise. So do you see how I said you kind of flipped it? If you could probably, I think, even edit this to have it come before. And I would actually use that potentially.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Laser Leads Unlock fixes that. Our team handles everything. The ads, the
So you kind of skipped over that a little bit. That's like the name of your program, Laser Leads Unlock.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of mentioned in a very casual way. I would probably put a bit more emphasis on that and say, hey, you know, we developed a system after working with X amount of med spas. It's called Laser Leads Unlock, and here's how it works. I would also maybe be a little bit cautious because don't med spas do laser treatments?
Yes, yeah, they do. Because okay, the issue also that I'm kind of running into, or I mean, it's not an issue because I haven't launched it yet, but the laser that I mentioned to you, right? The certain procedure. There's two ways in which people can kind of opt into that. There's med spas and there's dentists.
Oh,
Uh,
snap.
Yeah, so two of these kind of people have that profile that fits our criteria. And if they have the photon laser, they're able to perform the procedure. So my question to you is, should like in the heading or what you explained earlier, like kind of direct it in a way, target those two, or how would you go about this?
Yeah, bro. That's important information. So here's what I would say. If you say med spa owners, you're immediately going to exclude the dentists. And we know that there's a lot of freaking dentists out there. It's a pretty big total addressable market too. And that was one of the issues when we spoke yesterday, was that, yo, the total addressable market is pretty low. So if you
Yeah.
can combine those two, that'd be much better. And in my head, the best way to combine those two would very simply be to do a call out that includes both of them. Maybe something like healthcare practitioners. Hey, are you a healthcare practitioner that has one of these in your office? I just literally show the image of the freaking thing. And then
Yeah.
right? Like healthcare practitioners that have a photon laser machine. Yo, I've got something for you. I'm going to get you X amount of these patients every single month.
Got it. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. And then we just cater the body essentially to that.
Yeah, dude. And truthfully, man, I think that's a great differentiation because, man, there's just so many dudes going after med spa owners. And when you say med spa owners, you'll probably even receive some degree of mental opt out. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
med spa owners are going to see this and be like, oh, okay, it's just like marketing for like freaking lip injections.
yeah, exactly. That's the first thing that came into my head. I was like, what am I doing different? Rather than just targeting med spa owners when there's so many other people doing the exact same thing. So my kind of reasoning behind this was like, okay, let's target a procedure that no one else kind of knows about, and from there create like kind of ads based on that. But that, yeah, I do fully understand that.
Bro, so it's crazy you mentioned that because this is, and I say this with the most amount of love and respect for you and everyone else in this position because I was there.
Yeah.
And it's that we're so quick to jump to like writing our ads and be like, let's launch it. And I tanked like $6,000 on ads when I first started running them back in the day, my own roofing offer, and I didn't get many leads, and I didn't understand why. And you know, bro, after eventually getting on a bunch of calls with my target demographic saying to me, oh, well, you sound like everyone else, but you're more expensive and this and that, I'm just gonna go with the cheapest option. I started to realize, dude, what the hell? Like, I am not really that different. So what is it that truly differentiates me? And so what I would say to you is that there's a bunch of these, like, then this is just for your own info, bro, if like you're interested, right? But
Okay.
there's these great advertisers out there, man, that you just, if you're committed to the game, which I really hope you are, like, go and read some of these guys' books. Eugene Schwartz is he's like the grandfather of advertising. He wrote one of the most successful advertising promotions of all time. It was called "Do You Make These Mistakes in English?" Guess how long that ad ran for, bro?
I'm assuming lifetime, long time.
Yeah. So think about it, like the average ad. Like if you were to guess, you know, it runs for like a few weeks, months. So if that's some sort of a point, like his newspaper ad, just take a guess, bro. How long do you think it ran for successfully, profitably?
Well, based on this image, I'm assuming like 20 years, 30 years.
40 years, bro.
That is crazy. Okay, yeah, that is insane.
Can you imagine creating one ad that ran for 40 years and just keeps printing for you?
That's so crazy. Yeah.
So there's dudes out there that have mastered this, right? I would definitely go check out Ogilvy.
Ogilvy, yes, I've heard of
David
this guy.
Ogilvy. So there's a lot of these OGs, man, that have already done this. And like our gurus today are literally just taking a lot of these guys' stuff and they're just like rehashing and regurgitating it, right? So I'm not knocking on anyone, right? Obviously consume the YouTube stuff, the sort of newer school stuff. This stuff is gold. And the reason it's gold is because I had a big realization when I was going through a lot of these books back in the day when my advertising wasn't succeeding. And I realized, bro, these guys, they spend freaking 80% of their time at least on one thing that's got nothing to do with writing copy. You know what it is, bro? Freaking research. They just analyze the crap out of their market and they look at the little nuances like we're talking about over here. You see, like rather than jumping to med spas and do you want high paying patients, it's more like, oh, wait, hold on a second. Okay, dentists also do this. Okay, what does the machine look like? What do they actually make? It's just all this research, bro. So I would really recommend as you're going through this process to do more consistent research and, you know, listen to your sales calls and try to understand what it is that your demographic actually wants. It's really going to benefit you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for the insight. Yeah.
No worries, man.
love the
I think it's really cool that you guys do all these calls and stuff. I'll probably have these words be underneath because it's almost like you're blurring out the actual feature in some way.
calls, the text, and the book.
Like I can't even tell that's a text icon. It's just like this blurred. It's just like a secret. I don't know, right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
The calls, the text, and the bookings that get booked directly into your calendar. We plug directly into your business and deliver 20 or more booked appointments in 30 days, with clients regularly seeing 30,000 or more in additional revenue.
Okay, so that's great. This is the kind of stuff that's going to be in your direct ad, right? Like if you were to remove and maybe put all the indirect pain-driven, problem-driven stuff around the ad spend that's wasted and the ghosted follows. Let's say you put that in the front of your ad. This is really the direct portion of the ad because now you're talking about the sort of results and everything that you've gotten as well. Look, in order to make this more believable, have real faces, have real people. Some of the best thing that you could do, like for example, if you look at, I just put this together, bro, for my offer. So you can see there's my VSL over here, right? But you can see there's like real faces, there's like real screenshots of Zoom calls from all the clients and the agencies that I've worked with over here. It's like you're gonna, if you were to like watch this VSL as well, you would see, like, you could tell they're real people that I've worked with. If I look at your thing over here, it's like I don't know, anyone could just put this together and everything and say that they've helped people do this, right? And there's a lot of that out there.
Yeah, I have one screenshot like 15 or like 10 more seconds in.
Okay.
I think it's like a, if you play
All
it.
done for you, start to finish. We've already done this for med spas across the United States, including California, Florida, and New York. One client added over 34,000 in new patient revenue in the first month. Another client had to open
So
up
like
extra
this here
days
is
to
like
keep.
the screenshot, but I do have a testimonial, like an actual video one, where I was on the call with them. And she basically said like, oh yeah, I wouldn't be here without you. We're like fully booked up 3 weeks like in advance. So you're kind of saying to use that video testimonials onto where you said input it earlier, right?
These are, if you have like different styles of videos, so like an indirect spokesperson ad where it starts with the pain points and then gets into the promise, a direct spokesperson ad where it gets straight into the promise, and then testimonial ads, bro, these are so good because you have the actual demographic that's talking to the camera and it's talking on your behalf, and it's just so much more credibility. Remember what I said in the beginning about Affinity when you rang the lab code and everything? Like if you had your actual client just talking great about you guys, it is powerful, man. And then you can just put a like a banner over here and say, hey, this dentist or this healthcare provider is closing X amount in photon laser patients every single month. Very powerful video ad. So I would highly recommend stuff like that. Just gather as many testimonials as you possibly can, man. It'll be super beneficial for you.
Got it. Okay.
And there is a way to get these testimonials that's very easy. That I will. This is not the exact iteration because sometimes people aren't good at getting on camera and just freaking recording stuff, right? So there's a way to prompt it, which I could share with you. But let's continue over here. This is good, but it's so far away, man. Like even me on my computer, I can hardly read this, right?
That makes sense. That's what I was thinking.
So much better if you can just have, something like what I showed you on this website over here. If you can just have some sort of like a snapshot, right? Mm-hmm. Something that's like very, very, very clear and easy that they can consume immediately on. Oh, this person is doing this kind of revenue, for example.
Can I show you one really quick?
Yeah.
Awesome. Could you see my screen here?
Yeah.
Awesome. So these are like the two kind of testimonial videos I have of us being in a call. Let me play it really quick. It's like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, I think.
No, I'm happy. I'm thrilled. Awesome. I love you. I think your team is doing really great. I really appreciate you. We would not be here without you. We'd love to do some treatments on you for free. Whatever you would like done.
Pretty quick.
So,
yeah.
Did an acne treatment on me. Here at 68, I'm still getting acne. It's so unfair.
So like that's one kind of could you, I don't know why my thing stopped here, but could you still hear me, by the way?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. I can hear you.
And then this is like another one.
In terms of the ads, it's continuing, just letting it be as of now.
I think if you could slow it down for
Okay.
maybe a week or so. I mean, we're on vacation next week. Maybe slow it down for a little while and then take it back up. Because literally, if people want an appointment right now, I can't give them an appointment.
Yeah, we're like 3 weeks out, so yeah, it's pretty long. Yeah, I think best bet is to slow down.
Yeah. So like those are kind of like the testimonials that I have for this client. But yeah, I haven't found a good way to get testimonials at the moment.
So which of those two do you think are better?
I believe the second one, because it's kind of emphasizing that we're kind of like 3 weeks booked out, kind of painting that picture in their head, right? Let's just say if their clinic isn't booked out, like whatever clinic we're targeting, right? They're not booked out. They would love to get more booked appointments. Yeah, the second one.
Exactly. 100%, man. The second one is just so much better. And I wouldn't go, I think like the 3 weeks booked out is, I think that's a good title, actually. You always want to start off the ad or the video at the highest point of tension. So if you were to go and take a look at that actual testimonial, she says in the beginning, I think we should probably just slow it down. But later on, she's like, yeah, if we were to try to get an appointment right now, we wouldn't have anything for 3 weeks and then bring in, I think we should just slow it down. You see what I'm saying? Because it's just so much more impactful to hear her say that I just can't handle anymore. We're booked out. I need you to slow it down. Let me see if this is one of our first.
Before working with Roofax, I think the biggest challenge that I had was keeping my guys busy, trying to fill every week.
So this is more of an indirect ad because I basically got them to start off with the problems and the pains that they had. So immediately they're like talking to those pain points. But some of them, they're getting into. See, we religiously got testimonials.
And was it via the contract too? Did you guys have like something in place?
What do you?
Like, because I know some people have like in their contracts, it's like after X amount of days or X amount of months, film a testimonial or provide a testimonial. Is that something that you guys did, or it's just based on just experience?
No, because then it creates some sort of an expectation of like, oh, I'm going to give you something in return, but you need to, like, there's some expectation that's created, like, oh, you need to like do this amount, I'll give you a testimonial. I don't even mention any of that. What I would generally do is I'd hit up the contractor once they basically got either one really big win or they had like back-to-back wins. I'll just hit them up and say, hey, dude, I would love to record your story. You guys are freaking crushing it, and I think you could be an inspiration to other contractors out there. Are you down to hop on with me for just 15 minutes? You see how I position that?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
And the beauty about this is that, take a look, just hold on a second.
I mean, we're busy. We're getting more claims than we can manage, and we're pushing through every day. So my name's Ryan. My company is.
So you see, like in the beginning, he's just saying, we're busy. We're pushing through more claims than we can handle, right? So you can see how I put that right in the beginning, and then it's like, okay, yeah, this is the name of the guy. And it's
Got it. Makes sense. Yeah.
So,
and if you watch this, it's like,
it's Blue Ribbon Exteriors and Construction. How I heard about RoofX was through our consultant.
I was in this video, but I edited myself out completely.